The Lord be with you.
Also with you.
Let us pray. God of journey, as we travel on, alert us to the things that matter, and open our eyes to your every sign of your presence. Give us a sense of direction, or at least a sense of purpose, a sense of wonder, a sense that in everything you are walking with us step by step, gently guiding us into the heart of things. Amen.
Please be seated. Welcome to the Bishop Seabury Academy 2021 Stepping Up and Commencement Ceremony. Welcome to graduate families. I'm also grateful to have family, friends, alumni, and trustees watching from home. And faculty and students, it is always a pleasure to address you. Take a moment right now and take stock. We're here and we did it. This morning we celebrate an exceptional year and we recognize our graduating seniors, their success, their history with us, and their future journey. We also mark the progress of all students as they are authorized by their elder peers to move to the next level with its respective challenges and privileges. This has been a long and full year, and as always, I will recount some highlights. I must admit that this school year feels like it started in March of 2020. Or did the school year start with graduation in August? Or did we start with online classes on August 17th? Maybe we really started the school year with a Facebook post of Miss McCaffrey holding a very literal 6-foot pole. And the dulcet sound of Mr. Rios' voice saying, "You need to do your screening. Did you do your screening? No, you didn't. Go outside and pretend like you did it right the first time." Then fold in Mr. Nelson's playlist on Friday's screening time and an administrative team who were hyper-caffeinated and totally exhausted, which is not a good combination. Mr. Nelson rocked the wilderness biology class and his students caught fish that were almost certainly genetically enhanced by the magical waters of the Caw. We had 2 National Merit Scholars, Lyle Griggs and Peter Westbrook. We all wore pink to support Miss Asher in her battle against cancer. She recovered from surgery and we were grateful to have her boundless energy back in the building. Our volleyball, soccer, and cross-country teams learned to compete and succeed in the unusual terrain of the pandemic. Parent-teacher conferences were actually better on Zoom. By Halloween, we were starting to relax just a little bit, and we enjoyed costumes and jack-o'-lantern winners, including the quarantine pumpkin, a headless horseman, and a nearly full-sized pumpkin chariot. Slightly more terrifying than Halloween or the pandemic was the national election, but we survived it. Convocation moved online, where we also enjoyed a series of robust BSAP presentations. We pulled off a successful items drive and a scaled back sleep outside. The seniors stalked, captured, and decorated a beautiful Christmas tree, as well as a politicized inner tube Charlie Brown tree in the senior lounge. We voted often for our young coding league competitors. Over the break, we said goodbye to Ms. Bryan as she left to join Mr. Bryan on the East Coast, and we welcomed our new teacher, Mr. Barber, to join Ms. Barber in East Campus. The Diversity Club gave us impressive morning meeting videos, hosted a local diversity conference, and organized an impressive Dr. Martin Luther King Day presentation. We began random COVID testing on campus and learned just how challenging it can be to spit into a plastic vessel at 7:30. Fortunately, teachers were there to make pancakes for students in PJs. Charlie Maples took first place at the school spelling bee, his first step towards world domination. The KC Wolf visited us before the rather unfortunate Super Bowl. We should not speak of that again. Teachers planned their lessons around their first and second vaccination shots. Instead of a snow day, we had a ridiculous, endless, freezing, impossible to call rolling blackouts day. And can I say, really? Really? We celebrated Lunar New Year. Thanks to community support and an inventive planning committee, we had a very successful auction with charcuterie boards and cocoa bombs. This year's spring fever grudge match would have been called the endless humiliation of the faculty by the superior forces of student talent if it had not been for the jaw-dropping karaoke performances by Mr. Young, Mr. LaRocca, and Mr. Randall. Our Academic World Quest team dominated state for a second year in a row and qualified for nationals. We said a heartfelt goodbye to Coach Willie Dotson. We were knocked out with Miss Barber's 6th grade letter to Claudette Colvin that actually got a reply in the form of a video from the lady herself. There was PE pickleball. Science students were tormented with Mr. Randall's inversion goggles. Ian Blake, also known as Aqua Boy, became our first boys state champion in swimming. Several students reported seeing a questionable Easter bunny with a big head roaming campus. We brought back morning meeting in person. And the heavens opened. Renaissance Day involved classes, walking tacos, and rock bands on the back patio. Peter Westbrook struggled to keep his shirt on pretty much constantly. Read poetry pamphlets awaited discovery around the school, just as the students had given up hope that Headmaster's holiday would happen in this rotten pandemic year. Oh, it happened. Charlie Maple spearheaded a naming campaign for Miss Schrader's chicks, names like Nugget, Original Recipe, and Finger Looking Good. Oh, Charlie. This is one more reason to put a lock on the soon-to-be reopened chicken coop. Very excited to have the Poultry Hotel open its doors again, and thank you to Braden Shoemaker for the raised bed gardens. Debate forensics and music programs moved online with terrific success, and though we appreciated Pancho Metz's video talent so we could watch Seabury Theater on our computers, seeing live actors in person on this stage in the spring was like a much-needed drink of water. Audrey Huynh Huang, Yvonne Calderon, and Owen Ross were named state champions in forensics. The 6th graders spearheaded a remarkable and successful campaign to support the UN Refugee Agency. Our girls' soccer team had a dramatic comeback to score 2 goals in a matter of minutes at their last game. And Mr. Randall's science video was a surreal piece of genius that may or may not be nominated for a VH1 Music Award. All in all, what can I say about our year of learning in the pandemic? Despite immense challenges, we left everything on the field. Here at the end of the year, we celebrate the achievements of an impressive group of young graduates, and in doing so, we recognize the deep commitment and talents of the people behind me. They worked tirelessly on behalf of the students, and so to the faculty and staff, this year more than ever, I say thank you. And our seniors are not the only individuals graduating from Seabury this year. Every year we say goodbye to parents who have helped to nurture and develop these impressive graduates. These parents have made a lasting impact on our school. Many of them have had several children in our hallways. And at this time, I would ask that any parent whose last or only child is graduating from Seabury this year, please stand and be recognized. We will miss you, but we hope to see you and your graduates very often in the future. And now, I will introduce our first student speaker. She is a consistently exceptional scholar, a talented debater, a prefect, and a friend to every student at this school. It is a pleasure to present our 2021 valedictorian, Audrey Huynh Huang.
I've never been this tall before. Good morning, students, families, faculty, trustees, and the graduating class of 2021. Today is a day that we have spent countless hours working towards. A day some of us have spent countless hours trying to count down to as well. But today is also just a day. For some of us, our Seabury chapter started 7 years ago. For others of us, it started a year ago. Either way, this school has already done most of the heavy lifting when it comes to advice and life lessons. In the story of our lives, today is just a day where I help you present this chapter's closing paragraph. This senior class has experienced some of Seabury's most transformative years. We've ridden bikes inside both the old and new commons. We've had classes in person, on Zoom, and in hybrid. We've kicked off fall sports seasons, laughing at powder puff football, getting stuck upside down while playing bubble soccer, and cheering during sand volleyball. And we've survived trends such as bottle flipping, T-posing, and the ninja game. With all these changes, it's safe to say that the class of 2021 hasn't partaken in some traditions of old, but we've made our own. Overnight trips on the sandbar of the Kansas River, game night, 2 Christmas trees, hide and go seek at the school, in the dark, with horror music filling the halls, and prom in a barn. These are some of our memories. I'm excited for the rest of you to make some of your own as well. Now, receiving an award for putting up with these crazy antics, especially those that we do to create those memories, are the amazing people sitting behind me. We come to the school to learn from educated professionals, people who have dedicated their lives to trying to ready us for the world, so that we are prepared to make our way beyond those doors and make good choices when tough decisions stare us down. Seabury teachers have gone above and beyond in this goal. I recently saw Waiting for Superman, a documentary examining America's education system. And if I was thankful before, there are no words to express how grateful I am that I even have the privilege to be in the classroom with these teachers. They care about us so much. So thank you for supporting us as much as you do, for answering emails at absurd hours of the night, for understanding our hectic schedules, for worrying about both our mental and physical health, and giving us life advice. Thank you. Thank you. However, not all our teachers are teachers by name. We learn from each other every single day. You are a teacher. Take a moment to look at the people on your left, on your right, those in front of you and those behind you. Right now, my words mean something different to each and every one of you. You are processing them in hundreds of various ways. That's to be expected. Everyone has a different background. The people around you have been shaped by moments that we may never know. The world is filled with people who have different opinions and different methods. That's how the evolution of ideas happen. So listen to these other ideas and share your ideas. The saying may go that you never stop learning, but also remember, you never stop teaching. Learn to be both teacher and student, to listen and advise. Everything you do makes a difference because you are all incredibly talented individuals. What you may think to be inconsequential may actually last in the minds of others forever, like a drop of dye in the glass of clear water. For that reason, although I'm the one speaking to you at this moment, I am confident that any member of the class of 2021 could bestow on you skills and wisdom distinctive to them alone. With them, I've discovered how to build a human pyramid, how to fit in a locker or a cubby, the many alternate interpretations of a pink flamingo, and that there's always an ice cream place open. Through them, I've discovered the versatility of the word dude, the beauty of an artfully crafted Minecraft house, and how to avoid offending a religious organization. But most importantly, from them, I've discovered how to enjoy life more. Even if they don't realize it, these wonderful people sitting in front of me have taught me to let embarrassment roll off my back, to dance my heart out, to stand up and speak out, to strive forward with passion. Therefore, it is with no exaggeration that I say I would not be the person I am today without all of you. Thank you. As we're about to turn the page and start writing a whole new chapter of our lives, I'd like to remind you of a concept we learned in Mr. Gollier's class. The present becomes the past faster than we can ever anticipate, and what we know now to be normal may never be the same again. Our world is changing, and what it changes into is our decision. I have all the faith you will continue to grow and learn from those around you. But I implore you to forever continue sharing your remarkable character and teaching the values our school has imparted to you, to leave your legacy on the world. So thank you for allowing me to be part of your story. Thank you for being part of mine. This is my final send-off to all of you. Embrace your individual way of seeing and experiencing the world. Share that unique perspective. And thank those whose outlook has advanced your own. The amalgamation of our thoughts and viewpoints is like a rainbow. This merging of different colors into one where every unique color gets the opportunity to shine individually and as a group at the same time is beautiful. So go out there, interact with different minds, and create something beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. Now I will ask Mr. Patterson to officiate in the presentation of our senior awards.
Good morning. The first award today will be the Seabury Service Award presented by Mr. Gollier and Mrs. Lawrence.
Good morning, everybody. The phenomenal success of the Seabury Community Service Program is a reflection of the ever-increasing dedication and enthusiasm our students display on a continual basis. We would like to personally thank all of you for your contributions of this time and effort. And I'm kind of going to go off script here for just a second. Sorry, Ms. Lawrence. But, you know, this year was incredibly tough for community service because you could not really go to places to do a lot of different work because of the pandemic. But there were some things that we did this year that are beyond amazing. Everybody came together. Dr. Swong mentioned the items drives. We had 5 items drives, and we did items drive for 6 different agencies in this community 5 different times. And we also, one of those drives was, if you guys have heard about the tiny little houses they build at LCS, the Lawrence Community Shelter, we got all the microwaves for those houses. Every single house has a microwave because everybody in this room. And it's just absolutely amazing. And so when I talk about your dedication and things like that, this year shows the dedication of this community service. And thanks to 4 seniors, Catherine, Brenner, Braden, and Colin, we kept Sleep Outside alive for 1 more year and kept the tradition going. So thank you very much for all of your work and all your help this year.
This year, Bishop Seabury awards 3 students who have excelled in service to the community and service to others. Choosing a student for this award is a very difficult task, as every student here always goes above and beyond the call to help out in the Seabury community, Lawrence community, or in the larger global community. Speaking to the recipients, even though you may not have sought this recognition, your example can deliver a powerful message that encourages others to take action. Take seriously your status as a role model to volunteers and organizations engaged in service. It is with great pleasure we present the Seabury Service Award to, Paige Weigel-Helt,
Matthew Patello,
and Jeffrey Smurhall Monroe.
Mrs. Lawrence and Mr. Weaver will now present the Scholar Artist Award.
The Scholar Artist goes to a student who has excelled in scholarship and in artistry. About 6 years ago, we had two young men who were our tech crew for the theater. And they used to sit right over there. And one day I went to them and I said, "You're going to have to train your successor." And Grant Gollier, who was one of the two, said, "No problem, I've got somebody in mind." And at the next show, I was sitting here working in rehearsal, and I turned back and looked, and there was Grant, and there was Hank Mitchell, and a third young man, who I think was in 7th grade at the time, might have been in 8th grade. And I quickly motioned to Grant to come over, and he came over, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Oh, he'll be great." And I said, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Trust me." And this time later, our theater artist, our music artist, our scholar artist, has made himself such a part of the art landscape through lighting, through sound work, and through incredible dedication, that he is as true an artist as we have come across in this time that I have been here. So it is with the feeling of Ms. Lawrence, Ms. Porter, and myself that we would love to give the Scholar Artist Award to Colin Farha.
Next is the Scholar Athlete Award presented by Mr. Rios.
Bishop Seabury Athletics would like to recognize an individual from the senior class who has not only excelled in the classroom, but also in athletics. This year's Scholar Athlete Award goes to an individual who was a team captain for soccer, participated in tennis and powerlifting, was a Mid-Coast Scholar Athlete of the Month, and recently completed his Eagle Project here on campus, while also maintaining a high GPA. Seabury Athletics is proud to present this year's Scholar Athlete Award to Braden Shoemaker. I'm gonna leave this here.
Next, we have department awards. The first is for mathematics, presented by Mr. LaRocca.
Good morning. I am here today to announce what is perhaps the least surprising award recipient of the day, as there was no doubt, no question, who would receive the Math Department Award for 2021. This year's award goes to perhaps the most gifted math student in Seabury history, a student who spent his 8th through 10th grade years taking undergraduate online courses through Johns Hopkins and his junior and senior years taking graduate level math classes through the University of Kansas, as well as participating at research at KU with several persons in their math department. I would wager with almost certainty that no one in the United States has this kind of math base coming out of high school. It is my privilege to announce that this year's Math Department Award goes to Peter Westbrook.
The Science Department Award will be presented by Ms. Schrader.
Well, it seemed to be especially difficult this year for the science department to choose one person from this class, full of students who are passionate about the environment, curious about the things they can and cannot see, and inquisitive about how things work and why. But then we realized the choice was really obvious. The recipient of this year's Science Department Award is someone who has completed exemplary work in all areas of science throughout all 4 years of high school, including courses in advanced chemistry and biology. Rather than working to be the first to finish or to get something done, she will take the time to ask questions to gain a better understanding or find out more, or to help someone else who does not understand. She always maintains a positive attitude, making even the most difficult challenges look fun. From trying to make a self-made hydrogen fuel cell car work in the wind to paddling a canoe against the wind. Whether or not she chooses a career in science, it is clear that she will change the world for the better. Congratulations, Audrey Gwen Huang.
The English Department Award will be presented by Mr. Polsinelli.
The class of 2021 has no shortage of strong English students, but the department award goes to a young man who has nevertheless distinguished himself in this talented field. He shows a genuine love and appreciation for good writing and has developed the ability to create his own passionate and creative pieces. Though not always the most talkative member of class, he lurks like a cobra and then unleashes deep, thoughtful comments. As a nice bonus, he is a valuable contributor in journalism, and he has helped to keep the Student Writing Center afloat during this difficult year. And I'm sure he's making his humanities nerd parents so proud. The English Department Award goes to Evan McHenry.
The Social Studies Award will be presented by Lady Asher.
The recipient of today's Social Studies Department Award is a passionately cause-minded Renaissance individual who, to me, is a bit like the Freedom Riders of the 1960s. This person is not only a brilliant researcher, but also an amazing historical writer, as evidenced by the National History Day state win ever so long ago. He conducted oral history interviews for the National World War II Museum, thoughtfully archiving the experiences of our greatest generation who are quickly leaving us. The amount of knowledge in his humble brain is astounding. He led the academic World Quest team in 2 consecutive regional victories. He was the first student member of the Douglas County Historical Society Board of Trustees as well. His talents extended into the rhetoric side of a historian and was extraordinary in both debate and forensics, particularly extemporaneous speaking. While he can debate a competitor under the table, he's an easygoing person with whom one can have the best and most interesting conversations. I'm thrilled to present this award to Lyle Griggs.
The Spanish Award will be presented by Senor Rowe.
Each year, an award is given to a student of Spanish who has taken at least 3 years of Spanish, one of which is Spanish 4. And here I want to mention that at the beginning of this pandemic with wearing masks, I was concerned that I and all my students were going to end up sounding like Charlie Brown's teacher. If those of you, maybe I'm dating myself, which I usually do. I'm glad to say that that did not happen. This year's award goes to a student who has since their first semester shown a facility to capture Spanish in all 4 skills. Please join me in recognizing Max Akers.
The Latin Award will be presented by Mrs. Myers.
The Latin Award goes to the senior who demonstrates not only precise translation, but also to one who has acquired the art of translation. Thank you to all 5 of you for your diligent work and extraordinary efforts this year and in all of our years together. It is a joy to teach and get to know each of you. Thank you for the most engaging discussions and conversations. I won't forget those. They'll probably become part of my stories later. Each of you honed your translation skills. Choosing only one of you was painfully difficult decision, for I see each of you as individuals who are tremendously talented in Latin. This year's recipient has exemplary Latin skills and translation skills that reflect a deep understanding of both Latin and English, as well as being wittily crafted. This year's Latin Award goes to Now Griggs.
The French Award will be presented by Madame Derby.
The French Award goes to a student who has shown commitment to and interest in the French language and Francophone cultures. They have been a pleasure to teach. They're polite, caring, intellectually curious, and hardworking. They speak thoughtfully and with purpose, and their writing skills are beyond the level of high school French. It was a pleasure to travel to France with this student in 2018. This year's award goes to French scholar and all-around good guy, Jackson Rogers.
The Drama Award will be presented by Mr. Weaver.
The Drama Award this year is going to someone who has performed on this stage, once memorably with a one-line moment in the Scottish play. He has been a debater, a stalwart on the forensics team, but is receiving this award for his amazing work with 2 directors here. For Ms. Jennifer Glenn, as assistant director for her more than once, and especially for me over the last year has taught me so much about organization, about how to care about things, about developing an eye. It is with incredible honor that I am giving this year's Drama Award to Matthew Patillo.
The Music Award will be presented by Mrs. Lawrence.
This year, the Music Arts Department awards 2 students who have excelled in the musical arts. Our first recipient is a young man who has persevered and been an example to us all, challenging himself to learn every vocal line of every piece of music, enthusiastically encouraging the other team members, and constantly seeking to strengthen his musical chops by singing with some of the premier choral ensembles in the Lawrence and KC area. This young man has personified the can-do attitude that so many directors seek. Our second recipient is a young woman that, while at Seabury and as related to her participation in the arts, has consistently challenged herself in the fundamentals and nuances of music. A strong anchor voice in the soprano section and a go-to student who was always willing to jump in to lead, from taking attendance to stepping in for me and conducting in my absence. She helped us all to up our game. The Music Arts Award is awarded in recognition of singular merit, ability, achievement, and of outstanding contributions to the success of the school music program. My hope is that both recipients will immerse themselves in their new community and share their energy, enthusiasm, commitment, and talent with their peers and their professors. The Music Arts Department Award goes to Sophia Chindamo and Alex White.
Dr. Eicher will now present the Upper School Faculty Prize.
This award has been part of Seabury tradition since the founding of the school, and it is given to a student who has truly acted upon the Seabury motto, explore your potential. The Upper School Faculty Prize is awarded to the graduating senior who has demonstrated noteworthy and outstanding growth academically and personally, and has impressed the faculty with his or her commitment to learning and excellence. This year's faculty prize goes to a student with a big heart, a killer smile, endless determination, and there's a rumor he might be good at basketball. Stavian Jones.
I skipped over one of the department awards, so we're going to go back and do one more here. The Visual Arts Award, which will be presented by Ms. Porter.
Good morning. The Visual Arts Award is given to a student who doesn't simply possess raw talent, but one who works at learning new ways to express their artistic vision. An exceptional art student is one who is willing to give their entire focus to bringing that vision to life. Making art is hard work. It requires tapping into your imagination to mine originality within the confines of an assignment. It requires tenacity and patience, and did I mention work? The recipient of this award has developed her abilities here at Seabury, taking classes at the Art Center and KU, won a Scholastic Art Award. This student loves to do art, but also has an intuitive ability to help others. She plans to study psychology at KU, but I suspect a degree in art therapy could be in her future. Only time will tell, but I am certain wherever the student's path leads her, she will shine. The recipient of this year's Visual Arts Award is Yara Suditavo.
Our two final awards, the Ray and Marion Wilbur Award and the Headmaster's Cup, will be presented by Dr. Schwang.
The Wilbur Award is named after two impressive people, Dr. Ray and Mrs. Marion Wilbur. The Wilburs were longtime teachers, over 80 years of teaching between them. They volunteered their time teaching at Seabury and truly helped found the school. The Wilbur Award honors sustained academic achievement. This prize is awarded to the senior who has maintained the highest grade point average. This year's recipient is deeply knowledgeable, open-minded, insightful, and forever curious to explore every discipline. The Wilburs would highly approve of this student, as she would make a great teacher. This year, the Wilbur Award goes to Audrey Huen Huang. And finally, on the recommendation of the faculty, the Headmaster's Cup is awarded to the student who best represents the character of the school and its mission. We give awards for many things, for academic achievement, for sports, for arts, for service, and for other pursuits or abilities. But the Headmaster's Cup is awarded to a student primarily for exceptional spirit, ethical orientation, responsibility, compassion, determination, and integrity. To put it another way, this student has given themselves to the Seabury culture without reservation and become the epitome of what we old schoolers call a Seabury kid. In 6th grade, this student was once a roly-poly embodiment of orneriness. And somewhere along the way, this student caught us by surprise. Generous, wise, silly yet mature, deeply kind, resilient, capable of standing on principle, but always willing to listen to other perspectives. I cannot recount how many times this student offered his particular brand of assistance to students and teachers alike. This student supports the faculty, loves his fellow students, and is integral to the spirit and well-being of the school. And let me add as an advisor, long live Turtle. It is with considerable admiration and gratitude that I award this year's Headmaster's Cup to Colin Farha. A quick reminder to award recipients, medals are yours to keep, but plaques and cups must be returned unharmed. In addition to recognizing the achievements of our students this year, we would like to take time to recognize faculty who are leaving us and thank them for their service to our school. Jackie Heim joined our faculty in 2017, balancing her responsibilities between teaching math and the early development of our learning support program. Jackie brought to her classroom a laid-back style and a very particular sense of humor. She formed close bonds working with her students who appreciated her warmth and dedication. We missed having Jackie on campus during the strange year, and we are going to miss her next year. But we wish her luck as she moves to Kansas City next year and enters the corporate world. Good luck, Jackie. Lisa All was hired as our financial administrator in 2019. Ms. All helped us navigate the payment schedule during our campus expansion and worked with the bank to incorporate our construction loan into our financial structure. When COVID hit and almost all of us had to work from our homes, Ms. All was one of the very few employees who had to work on our campus in the midst of construction, alone and surrounded by boxes of files and paperwork in Senior Row's room. Only at the end of this last summer was she finally able to move into a proper office in our administrative wing. Over this year, I have enjoyed getting to know Lisa and trying to make her laugh. We are sorry to see her go, but she is off to new adventures, and we wish her luck in the next chapter of her life. Heather Coates began her part-time work at Seabury in 2014. Surrendered those teaching duties when full-time chaplain Stephanie Jenkins joined our staff, and then returned as world religions teacher in 2019. When I am in the presence of Ms. Coates, I always feel a strong awareness of essential goodness. Her teaching is defined by a generous spirit. With creativity and keen insight, she succeeded in bringing her students into the heart of other cultures and belief systems. Heather, we hope to have you back to campus often in the near future, and we send you off with warm affection. Good luck. Chris Bryan first joined our English department in 2012 and taught 7th grade English and English as a second language. Ms. Bryan is an excellent teacher who brings humor, energy, movement, and high expectations to her classes. She has an easy way of drawing out student engagement. I enjoyed watching her creative and engaging classroom lessons. Of course, we know that Ms. Bryan's creativity was not confined to the classroom, and with her cohort and sometimes roommate, Dr. Eicher, Chris created walls of poetry, Valentine obsessions, and graffiti Seabury Seahawk wings. And who will ever forget her legendary advising jack-o'-lanterns? I doubt that any teacher has won the top prize more often than she. Ms. Bryan had to leave us mid-year, and though she could not join us in person today, I hope she is watching in DC. Chris, we miss you. We wish you nothing but happiness and good fortune. Madame Lori Derby has been teaching French at Seabury since 2010. Madame Derby brought to the French program tremendous enthusiasm, high standards, humor, and a deep love of language and culture. Students who took her classes were immersed in the warm spirit of the subject and felt a pride that comes from taking courses that are truly meaningful. Lori and I were the chaperones on 2 spring break trips to France. Together, we shepherded students through a blizzard on the first trip and a 36-hour delay in the shadow of a looming national labor strike in the other. Kind of prepared me for Greece. A surreal experience in a seedy Euro Disney hotel figures into that story, but that's for another time. That was quite a trip. I could not have asked for a better partner in those tough circumstances, and it has been a tremendous pleasure working with Lori for a decade. I am only willing to part with Madame Derby because I know she is moving back to Ohio and closer to her family. She will be missed, but we wish her and her children happiness in the next stage of their adventure. Which brings me to Arnie Knudsen. 25 years ago, the Seabury Board of Trustees hired the school's first head of school, who in turn hired a handful of teachers who helped create the school, its curriculum, and most of the school's existing traditions. One of those teachers was Mr. Knudsen. What do I say about Arnie? What can I say that you don't already know? Arnie is a master teacher. When asked several years ago to offer suggestions for the future of Seabury, one alumnus said, "Clone Mr. Knudsen." Another alumna wrote that she continued to use notes from Mr. Knudsen's math class to get through her college math courses. Watching Arnie teach advanced calculus to students was like watching a wizard teach some arcane casting spells to his pupils. And for those of you who have been in his classes, I know you are grateful for his mentorship. I am grateful for Arnie's friendship, as I have known him and worked with him for 21 years. 21 years of hearing Seabury lore. Many of you may not know that the school's mascot was nearly named the Breeze. Imagine that for a second in this room, the breeze flowing back and forth. When he tells it, it's hysterical. 21 years of dry humor, 21 years of thoughtful perspective on the school and its inhabitants. Mr. Knudsen has relocated to North Carolina with his wife, Carla. I regret that the pandemic has not provided Arnie with the final year at Seabury that he should have had. And even if things were different, I'm not sure I could give him a worthy send-off based on his contributions to the school. It will have to be enough to say to him, Arnie, you go with the love and admiration of the entire school community. You helped make this school what it is. You will always be able to call Bishop Seabury Academy home. Good luck, my friend. Every year, the seniors choose a classmate to deliver the senior charge, and this year's speaker is an impressive scholar, a prefect, and speaker. He also has a 6th grade fan club. Yes, it is true. It is a pleasure to present Lyle Griggs.
I definitely do not need that. Thank you. Good morning, students, faculty, Seabury families, and anyone else who managed to sneak into this unusually small ceremony this morning. It's great to see so many familiar faces in the same room. Boy, am I glad that I woke up in time to be here. I must say, it's strange to be up here behind the podium. I fondly remember years of sitting down there in the crowd, watching some poor sap speak, maybe feeling a little schadenfreude and thinking, God, that looks hard. Glad I never have to do that. Well, here I am. When outlining this speech, I considered tackling the tired old elephant in the room, the pandemic. Like countless 2021 graduation speakers, I could praise the resilience and flexibility of my class, lamenting what we lost, but speaking of the character that we built, a silver lining in these dark times. I could regale you with tales of calculus class with the distant storm-racked Mr. Knudsen, of the on-screen antics of Bruce and Josh, of the booming voice of Gaudry, or of the time that Peter joined politics class from a ski lift. But to be honest, I'm tired of talking about the pandemic, and I'm tired of that trite stuff about silver linings. More importantly, I would hate to let this past year and a quarter define our Seabury experience. We're more than just survivors of an unusual senior year. We're Seabury kids. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. Not just what it means to be a high school graduate, or even to be a graduate in this unique year, but what it means to be a part of this particular Bishop Seabury Academy class. And because I only have a few minutes before Dr. Schwang yanks me off of here, I'll focus on one thing that makes us Seabury kids: our eagerness to try new things, to explore our potential in as many ways as possible. Now, if I were Dr. Schwang, I might center this speech around one of the Chef Gusteau quotes in the greatest cinematic masterpiece of our time, Ratatouille. But I'm not doctor, so I'll start with one from my grandmother. She often advises us that what's worth doing is worth doing poorly. Admittedly, that seems initially like terrible advice. So she told me that I had to clarify that she recently amended it to what's worth doing is worth doing approximately, but I prefer the shock value of the unadulterated quote. Her adage is an inversion of an older saying, what's worth doing is worth doing well. And it sounds like a highly negative perversion of that original. And of course, there's something to be said for the original bit of advice. We should aspire to excellence in all our pursuits, and the class of 2021 does so every day. That drive is another one of those things that makes us Seabury kids. But let's face it, we can't all achieve excellence or even middling success in everything that we do. That's just the truth. Try as I might, I couldn't draw like Yada, I couldn't ride horses like Aaron, I couldn't dance like Catherine, sing like Alex, play soccer like Harrison, or breeze through graduate level math classes like Peter. Still, just about everything that I've done here has been worth it. Excellence be damned. I figured I'd share a few personal examples with you this morning of how I've done so. In 7th grade, encouraged by Mr. Nelson, I joined the middle school basketball team. My hopes weren't high. I assumed that I wouldn't be all that good. But after a few weeks of practices, games, and help from my coaches, I realized that my prediction had been incorrect. In fact, I wasn't just not all that good. I sucked. I was awful. I looked just as out of place and feckless on that court as I did on the prom dance floor on Wednesday. Still, I learned a ton in those 3 months of basketball and perhaps 4 total minutes of playing time, and it was worth every minute. I may not have been a good basketball player or even a decent one, but I'm glad I gave it a shot. Here's another. I hope that you all have enjoyed the comics that I've drawn for the school newspaper over the past 3 years. Well, I'm about to reveal a secret that most of you probably already know. I can't draw. Not at all. I'm sorry, Miss Porter, if you thought you were missing a talented student in your art classes, you weren't. Truth is, I pull stock photos from the internet and trace them on my phone. Still, however terrible I am at the drawing part, which probably is the most important part of making comics, anyway, I loved being the Chronicles comic artist. I got a few laughs out of it, and I hope that you all did too. Maintaining the ruse was worth it. One last anecdote. My 6th grade year, back when the requirement that students participate in at least 2 school activities was still somewhat in force, I auditioned for the year's all-school play, Inherit the Wind. Before coming to Seabury, I had never been interested in acting. In elementary school, my parents tried to sign me up for summer theater programs, but I refused, shocked that they would even suggest doing something so terrifying. So it would be an understatement to say that I auditioned reluctantly. But at the time, it just seemed like the Seabury thing to do. And as it turns out, I loved it, and I've participated in theater every year since. I'm still not much of an actor, but I'm grateful for every moment that I spent on this stage. My fellow graduates have taken similar tentative steps beyond their comfort zones these last 7 years. In the process, we've discovered new talents and revealed new deficiencies, succeeded greatly and failed miserably. But that fear of failure, of doing poorly, has never deterred us. And even this year, after the pandemic had sucked all remaining motivation and energy from most kids, we didn't let up. In the fall, students in wilderness biology with little outdoor experience canoed and camped on the Kansas River, learning and having fun despite sunburns, shallow water, and flipped canoes. When temperatures plummeted this February, some of us even tried ice fishing but didn't even manage to drill a usable hole. This spring, soccer players tried boys volleyball, a new sport for Seabury, and Audrey, who hadn't auditioned for a play since Inherit the Wind in 6th grade, acted in our production of Much Ado About Nothing. Examples of this type of thing abound. Over the years, this place has given us the opportunity to take risks, to do worthwhile things, regardless of our skill level. But we shouldn't stop being those adventurous Seabury kids when we walk out of the gym doors today. We know from our experience here how to escape the ruts that we fall into, how to T-rescue a canoe, and how to push ourselves in new ways. So, class of 2021, get out there into the world and explore your potential however you can, even if you're afraid you might fail miserably. In the end, it's all worth it. Thank you.
Our seniors have also chosen a teacher to give the faculty charge. And this year, their speaker is an eloquent and accomplished teacher who is devoted to her students. It is a pleasure to present Dr. Vanessa Hiker.
Graduates, you have generously asked me to give your faculty charge. For most of you, I was your 8th and 10th grade English teacher. And while I appreciate the generosity of this honor today, please know that it is not lost on me that by inviting me to do this, you have assigned your old English teacher to write you an essay. Touché, class of 2021. In my essay, I will avoid the following words and phrases: COVID, pandemic, new normal, temperature check, quarantine, and social distancing. It's not just that those words exhaust us, but the hermetically sealed, fragmented, lonely world from which we're emerging couldn't diverge more from my memories of the class of 2021. When I think of these graduates, I remember at least 4 warm bodies squished into not quite 4 feet of seating on the green sofa in my classroom. In removing the green sofa last August, cushions yielded hair ties, earrings, scraps of Hershey Kiss foils, and yes, Cameron Green's wallet. I remember shared earbuds, loud games with grubby Uno cards, and spirited discussions about gun control, global warming, cars, computer cooling methods, feminism, calculus, aliens, voting rights, fishing, patriotism, predatory capitalism, and cars, cars, cars. I remember laughter, tears brushed away with fingertips, cheeks leaning on shoulders, and tables with students crowded around sharing pencils and keyboards. I remember all the Kleenexes and boxes of emergency chocolates. Restocking both topped all my weekend shopping lists your sophomore and junior years. And if I'm being honest, I think of romance. So much romance. No names, but let's just say that when teaching Midsummer Night's Dream to this year's sophomores, to argue that love really is like a magical potion that makes you close your eyes and wake up in love with someone new, I finally just said, you know, like some of the current seniors. So thank you, graduates, for helping me teach Shakespeare to young people. All of this is to say that the class of 2021 reminds me of the messy, crowded, noisy, high-fiving, beautiful best of life, the life we all miss. They are it. And so, class of 2021, I'm charging you to think of the messy past. My first charge, tell the right story. In English 10, we read Shakespeare's King Lear, which could also be entitled The Apocalypse. By the final line, darkness is so deep, there's barely enough light to see. Not to depress you, graduates, but college has its apocalyptic moments. Freshman year, I wrote 32 essays before Christmas. I discovered 5 months into the year that my roommate hated washing her sheets, and she entertained her dates in my bed. And my grandmother died right before finals, so I could not attend her funeral. But here's some good news. Your life is not written by a certain Renaissance playwright who spelled his own name at least 6 different ways. You are the writer. And while there are uncontrollable forces, know that your understanding of your place among uncontrollable forces is up to you. You write your story, so be careful what you write. If you tell yourself, my life's over, or I may as well give up, or I'm worthless, please remember the monster in A Monster Calls, explaining stories chase and bite and hunt. Class of 2021, stories you tell yourself chase you most of all. I'd go so far as to say that the stories you tell yourself are nothing short of a magic spell. They have that kind of power. If you set a story loose to chase and bite and hunt you down, it will. I know. I've done it. I've told myself stories that hunted me so far into the dark woods that it's a wonder I ever made it back out. When it feels like the apocalypse, tell yourself a story that shelters you, that allows you to survive the night. I'm not saying lie to yourself. Be honest, be fair, but survive. You absolutely deserve that. When it feels like the world is ending, I charge you to tell yourself the right story. My second charge, find your green sofa. The green sofa was sanctuary for many of you. You sat together and listened to music, shared TikToks, made TikToks, inhaled chocolate, held hands, told each other what was wrong, told Mrs. Bryan what was wrong, told me what was wrong. But know this, as much as you might imagine that all those crises were because of high school, that's just not true. It's life, college, and beyond. And down the line, when you're lost in the darkness of feeling betrayed or inadequate, forgotten, self-loathing, confused, find someone to sit beside you and listen. That's all they need to do. Tell them that. Say, hey, I don't need you to fix anything. Just hear me. Or if listeners are thin on the ground, find a healing outlet. Find your green sofa in music, a good workout, making art, stargazing, or a rambling letter to yourself that you burn later. But whatever you do, don't hold it in and say, I'll power through. That's a dark story that will chase you down. Nothing is as important as your mental health, your spirit. I wish I'd protected my spirit more over the years, so I charge you to care for your spirit and find a good listener or a healing outlet to channel the darkness, because in all things, that spirit is what keeps you going. I charge you to find your green sofa. Finally, I charge you to embrace the flamingo of love. Graduates, do not act surprised. You had to know I'd mention the flamingos. In English 10, the graduates read a Greek comedy called Lysistrata. In the play, women end a very long war because they are tired of losing their husbands and sons to its darkness, and finally proclaim to the men, end the war or sleep on the couch forever. Let's just say the flamingo is the symbol of that old cliche, make love, not war. And if not love, at least span the divide to find human connections. Most of you know that Mrs. Bryan is one of my dearest friends. And some of you know that when she left, it broke my heart. What not many of you know is that there are many things we don't agree on. And there are two big things we really see differently. Well, three, if you count that she thinks dogs are better than cats. Anyway, Mrs. Bryan and I don't really agree on some aspects of religion and politics. Does that surprise you? It surprises me. I've certainly let friendships die over less. For some reason, 9 years ago, both Mrs. Bryan and I decided to prioritize everything else about each other. I'm so thankful we did. I need her as a friend more than I need her to tell me that I'm right. If you've ever wished you had a friendship like mine and Mrs. Bryan's, please know it's not based on us being totally alike. It's because we consciously built the friendship to span our differences. It might even be stronger and more enduring precisely because of that. Creating connections with people, especially those with whom it would be easy to disagree, is more satisfying than winning an argument. In saying this, class of 2021, I charge you to embrace the flamingo of love. In closing, I'll leave you with an Indigo Girls lyric. Darkness has a hunger that's insatiable, and lightness has a call that's hard to hear. Graduates, when you feel that hungry darkness eating at you, be sure to tell yourself the right story. Keep your spirit well and bypass the fight in favor of human connection. Put it this way, I told myself years ago that I would find a way to connect with your class, despite the fact that I am terrible at math, care nothing about cars, and love not camping. I became a better listener. My world grew bigger. I became a more optimistic teller of my own story. In doing my best to connect with you, class of 2021, my spirit is stronger. Thank you for that, and happy graduation.
Thank you, Dr. Eicher. I now ask Ms. Patty Bartley, our board president, to join me for the presentation of diplomas. Seniors, your time has come. When I call your name, would you please come forth and receive your diploma and our congratulations. Maxwell Emerson Akers. Abigail McCord Baldwin. Reagan Marie Bible. Sophia June Chandama. Colin Ferris Farha. Brenner Bright Gollier. Eris Taylor Elizabeth Grady. Cameron Allen Green. Lyle DeWitt McDonald Griggs. Harrison Samuel Hartzler. Erin Elizabeth Higgins. Stavian Dalen Leroy Jones. Evan Michael McHenry. Audrey Kelly Wen Huan. Morgan Day Orozco. Matthew Carter Petillo. Catherine Tierney Richards. Jackson Day Rogers. Marissa Babette Ruggiero. Braden James Shoemaker. John Jeffrey Smearhoff Monroe. Yada Sutitaville. Catherine Suzanne Timkar. Dmitry Tulipov. Paige Marie Weigel-Helt. Peter Emmanuel Westbrook. And Alex White. Seniors, congratulations. I hereby declare that you are graduates from this high school, and you may turn your tassels to the left. The Stepping Up ceremony is unique to Bishop Seabury Academy, and it is the most important ritual we have. We mark not only the graduation of our seniors, but also the promotion of students from one grade to the next. Each class is authorized by the former class to take its place, and we demonstrate to the wider community the mutual support and respect upon which our school culture is based. And now, we will step up. Congratulations, everybody. I want to thank all of our guests for coming here today. Thanks to the trustees for looking after our school. Thanks to Ms. Chindama, Mr. Nudeboom, Betsy Alford, Mr. Rios, Mr. Patterson, and Ms. Lawrence for their help in organizing this event today, and to Ms. Lawrence and her singers, and to Dr. Hoffling for accompanying them. I need a punctuation. I didn't put punctuation there. This is also a good time to say thank you to all of the parents who worked on BSAP-sponsored events this year, and I would especially like to thank BSAP President and Vice President Eliza Bullock and Taisha Green. Thank you. As we conclude today's ceremony, I have very specific directions for you. In a moment, I will ask the teachers to depart the building so we can free up the frontage road. Then I will ask all students to leave the gym, just not the seniors, go through the school and spread yourself out between the north patio, the commons, and the front plaza. You know where those are. Graduates and your families, just stay put. You will have a moment to gather here in the gym and leave directly from this location. There is no need for anyone to clean up the space or stack chairs. We have a crew coming in to do that. Graduates, as you embark on an exciting future, we wish many things for you. But more than anything, we ask you to be both good and happy in your lives. Try always to be good, and the happy part will follow. No matter where you are, our hearts will always be with you. Now I will ask Father Baldwin to conclude with a blessing.
Let us pray. What we choose changes us. Who we love transforms us. How we create remakes us. Where we live reshapes us. So in all our choosing, O God, make us wise. And all our loving, O Christ, make us bold. In all our creating, O Spirit, give us courage. In all our living, may we become whole, and the blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be upon you and those whom you love, and those for whom you pray, this day and forevermore. Amen.
All right, seniors, let them fly. Have a good summer, everybody. Thank you. Stay well.